Your gut has its own nervous system, not connected to a nervous system, its own one. It's called the enteric nervous system, and it contains somewhere between 100 and 500 million nerve cells. That's more than your spinal cord. Your digestive tract, from your esophagus all the way down to your colon, is lined with this massive, complex network of neurons. And the wild part? It can function completely on its own, without any input from your brain whatsoever. Researchers back in the late 1800s, a couple of guys named Bayliss and Starling, actually discovered that the gut kept doing its job even after they severed its connection to the central nervous system. It just kept going, like it had a mind of its own, because in a way, it does. This is why it got the nickname the second brain. And it's not just a cute label. The enteric nervous system uses the same neurotransmitters, the same signaling mechanisms, and even some of the same types of neurons as the brain sitting in your skull. It's essentially the same hardware running in a different location. Now, even though the gut can operate independently, it's in constant communication with your brain. And the primary cable connecting them is called the vagus nerve. Think of it like a direct hotline between your gut and your brain. It's the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it runs from your brainstem all the way down into your abdomen, touching your heart, your lungs, and your digestive organs along the way. Here's the part people never expect. About 80 to 90% of the signals traveling along that vagus nerve are going up, from the gut to the brain, not the other way around. So your brain isn't really the one giving orders here. Your gut is sending the reports. Your brain is the one doing the reading. What kind of reports? Information about inflammation, about what you just ate, about whether something feels off, about the state of hundreds of millions of microorganisms living in your intestines. Your gut is constantly feeding your brain a live update about the state of your body. And your brain uses all of that to shape how you feel. Now let's talk about serotonin, because this is where it gets really personal. Most people know serotonin as the happy chemical, the thing that antidepressants try to boost. And we tend to think of it as a brain thing, something happening up in your head. But here's the truth. About 90 to 95% of your body's serotonin is produced in your gut. Not your brain, your gut. Cells lining the intestinal wall, called enterochromaffin cells, are cranking out serotonin all day long. And it plays a huge role in regulating your mood, your appetite, your sleep, and how your gut itself moves food through your system. This is a big reason why gut problems and mental health problems so often show up together. People with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, have significantly higher rates of anxiety and depression. People with anxiety frequently have digestive issues. It's not that one is causing the other. It's that they're part of the same system. And when something goes wrong in one place, you feel it everywhere. And this also means, and I want you to really hear this, that if you've ever been told that your gut issues are just stress or all in your head, that's not the dismissal it sounds like. It's actually a physiological reality. Your head and your gut are in constant dialogue, and both need to be part of the conversation when something's wrong. All right, now I have to talk about the microbiome, because this is where the science goes from interesting to genuinely mind-bending. Inside your gut right now, while you're watching this, there are roughly 38 trillion microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, viruses, archaea. a whole ecosystem living inside you. And the collection of all of those organisms is called your gut microbiome. Now, for a long time, we thought these were just hitchhikers, bugs that helped digest food and didn't cause much trouble. But over the last 2 decades, research has completely flipped that idea on its head. Your gut microbiome is actively producing neurotransmitters. It's regulating your immune system. It's influencing how your body responds to stress. Some studies have even suggested it plays a role in shaping your personality and behavior, though that research is still early and we should be careful not to overstate it. But here's a study that really stuck with me. Researchers took mice that were bred to be anxious, naturally high-strung, jumpy little guys, and they transplanted gut bacteria from calm, low-anxiety mice into them. And the anxious mice became calmer. And it worked in reverse, too. Calm mice given gut bacteria from stressed mice started exhibiting more anxious behavior. Now, mice aren't humans, but those results were striking enough that they sparked a whole field of research into something called psychobiotics. The idea that we might one day be able to treat certain mental health conditions by changing the composition of the gut microbiome. We're not there yet, but the fact that we're even asking the question tells you how far the science has come. So what messes with this system? What throws the gut-brain axis out of whack? The list is honestly kind of depressing because it reads like a description of modern life. Chronic stress is a big one. When you're constantly stressed, your body stays in fight or flight mode, and that actively suppresses digestion and disrupts the balance of your gut bacteria. Poor sleep does it too. Your microbiome follows a circadian rhythm. It actually changes composition based on time of day. And when your sleep is chaotic, that rhythm falls apart. Highly processed foods, the stuff loaded with emulsifiers, artificial sweeteners, and refined sugars, have been shown in multiple studies to reduce microbial diversity in the gut. And diversity, it turns out, is the key metric. A healthy gut microbiome is a varied one. And antibiotics, while absolutely necessary and life-saving in many contexts, can wipe out huge portions of your gut bacteria indiscriminately, the good alongside the bad. That's not a reason to avoid them when you need them. It's just a reason to be thoughtful about rebuilding afterward. Okay, so what do you do with all of this? I want to be honest with you. This field is still evolving. We don't have all the answers. Anyone selling you a miracle probiotic that cures anxiety is getting ahead of the science. But there are some things that the research pretty consistently supports. Eat more fiber. Not because fiber itself is the magic thing, but because it feeds the bacteria in your gut that produce short-chain fatty acids, compounds that reduce inflammation and have been linked to better brain health. Vegetables, legumes, whole grains, the boring stuff works. Eat fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, miso. A 2021 Stanford study found that a diet high in fermented foods actually increased microbial diversity and reduced markers of inflammation, even compared to a high fiber diet. That was a pretty striking result. Protect your sleep. We keep coming back to this in almost every health conversation, and the gut-brain connection is no different. 7 to 9 hours, consistent schedule. it matters more than most supplements ever will. Manage chronic stress. Not eliminate it, that's not realistic. But things like regular exercise, time in nature, breathing practices, these aren't just wellness fluff. They directly affect the vagus nerve and gut function. The mechanism is real. And go easy on yourself when your gut feels off. If you've been dismissing your digestive symptoms as unrelated to how you've been feeling mentally, or dismissing your mental symptoms as unrelated to your gut, maybe it's time to start treating them as parts of the same story. Because biologically, they are. The gut-brain connection isn't fringe science anymore. It's one of the most active areas of research in all of medicine right now. And I think the reason it resonates so much, the reason people feel almost relieved when they learn about it, is because it validates something we've always kind of known in our bones, or, well, in our guts. Pay attention to what your gut is telling you, not just as a metaphor, as a biological instruction. If this was interesting to you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who's been dealing with gut issues or mental health stuff, because chances are nobody's connected these dots for them yet. And if you want to go deeper, I'll link some of the research below. Actual peer-reviewed papers, not wellness blogs. Check it out. See you in the next one.